Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a Leather Element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. So I'm not sure if this is a strong subject or not, but there are a number of tools, materials in my shop that have nothing to do with leathercraft, yet they're a big help to us. So I'm hoping there's something here that's going to help out. Let's start with templates, because these are the key to every pattern, thus every project. But there might be some options out there that we're not thinking about. Now, the French curves, these are a big help to us. And we've probably got some of these in our shop. But there are things these are just not going to do. And the protractor, we've seen how big of a help that can be. But I have to say, the two templates I use the most. Well, first off, a round hole template. All kinds of uses here. But say for our round corners, we can really fine tune those. But I have to say, a bigger help, ovals. These are impossible to draw by hand. I've got nothing in my shop that's going to fit, and our wing divider, no help whatsoever. So a good template is a big help. These are available at just about any craft store, and they're not terribly expensive. But how about our kitchen? Say we've got a pouch, purse, or bag, and we just want a nice even curve across the bottom of the flap. All kinds of options in our kitchen. And rounds. If we need a round, we need a larger pattern than, say, our wing divider can deal with, well, we certainly have all kinds of bowls, and in fact, all kinds of wacky options in our kitchen. Most of these are discards or things I buy for the shop. But if we're going to borrow something from our kitchen, we need to remember 5 words. I promise I'll return these. That'll keep us out of trouble. For most of our liquids, the lid isn't really an issue. It goes on and off pretty easily. But when we jump over to our contact cement and our leather cement, well, these are holding cement, so the top can be a problem. I'd love to say I clean the throat of these every time I use them. Well, that's just not the case. So a simple pair of channel locks will open just about any lid in our shop. We have a few tools in our shop, luckily not many, but a few that have incredibly small screws. And in fact, that's actually inset in the barrel of the swivel knife. No standard screwdriver is going to get there. And at a hardware store, hard to find screwdrivers this small. Well, actually, let's go with an eyeglass repair kit. Yeah, oddly enough. But notice how small our screwdrivers are. And we've got flathead and Phillips. Best part, inexpensive, and we can find these at just about any pharmacy. In fact, I think I bought this set at a convenience store. I love to mix dyes. I'm always looking for additional colors or very unique colors for my projects. In fact, one of my favorites, now this is the Pro Dye, it mixes so well, but one of my favorite mixes, 1-to-1, light brown and mahogany. To me, that's a beautiful color. Not too light, not too dark, but it's a good, rich brown. Where's the problem? Dye can be expensive, and I don't want to waste it, but at the same time, it's a little hard to measure. Well, let's do this. Let's just get an inexpensive eyedropper or syringe and a measuring cup. A little bit larger will help, and you'll see why. So with our eyedropper, any dye I want to mix, I can simply draw it up to any given mark, and I know that's a 1-to-1 mix. Well, I can drop it in here. Well, that's not much dye, and really, we're not going to be able to measure that. Doesn't matter. Here's the point. If we get 2 or 3 colors, just say 1 small eyedropper of each, that's exactly enough dye for 1 dauber and just enough to get coverage on about a 3x3 inch piece of leather. So therefore, I can see exactly the color I'm looking for, but I've not wasted a lot of dye and clean up relatively easy. Now, a larger measuring cup. Here's another point. So with this, now I can measure larger quantities and I can actually be pretty accurate. Oddly enough, I keep 2 types of wire in my shop, and I don't ever think about it, but I am always clipping pieces and parts off of these. Well, right here, this is just a soft, thin wire from any hardware store. Well, notice we can use our hands to bend that. This basically is just a very strong twist tie, so we can use this to secure all kinds of things. But the one place I find I use this the most, for all my little hooks for dip dyeing. Well, first off, I'd like to have a number of these. Say I've got multiple pieces or parts on a project. Well, I can use this to draw it through the dye, but at the same time, let's leave it on the hook and let's just hang it in our shop. It's going to dry faster. We get air from both sides. Right here, we're doing multiple straps, or say maybe 2 belts at a time. Right, we can cut our time in half And again, just hang that in our shop. Our belts are going to dry nicely. Now, the larger wire. This is simply baling wire. And again, we can get this in any hardware store. Well, first off, I have pegboard in my shop. Great place to hang hardware. But all these hooks, these can get ridiculously expensive. So let's just make our hooks out of the baling wire for our pegboard. And we can make all kinds of hooks. But also, back to dyeing. We want to dye multiple straps at one time. In fact, I don't even know how many I have on here. But with this, I simply dip it in my dye, lift it out, let it dry right where it is. But also on the creative side, we can make all kinds of cool wet form molds with that wire. Again, it's a little stiffer, but we can absolutely bend it with a pair of pliers and do all kinds of cool things with it. One video, it's just not going to cover all the tools and materials out there that have nothing to do with leathercraft, yet they are a big help to us in our shop. So if you've got a good idea, drop it in the comment box below. That way, anybody reading through the comments will benefit from your knowledge, and that's a big part of leathercraft. I hope this is good information for you. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.